So, like you can see, today we are going to continue with the second hand of the InMoov humanoid robot in Zachary's weekends project coming up. Hello, this is Zachary from Zachary 3D Prints, bringing you how to, reviews and many other cool things you can do with 3D printing. If you're new to this channel and not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I will put every social media link in the description of this video. You can, if you want, also support this channel on Patreon. I will put the link in the description of this video. And if you are looking for a nice, decent 3D printer, then check out the affiliate links in the description of this video. So today we are going to continue with Zachary 3D Prints weekend project, the InMoov humanoid robot, and it's going to be part 2. The hands are, to my opinion, one of the most difficult parts to build, because you have some electronics, you have the motors, you have the wires, you have different kind of things, and it can be very tricky to manage all of that. There are some other parts also with the biceps and the shoulder parts that can be quite tricky. So today we are going to focus on the second hand, or the left hand of the InMoov humanoid robot. I can't say that it is very easy, but in some ways it's also very difficult, because this hand it was a very difficult task to get it all done. And for example, the servo motors, when you are going to buy them, not all of them are working. It can happen that there is a bad servo motor in one of your shipments. That can happen, no problem. So to test that, I ordered also a Servo Tester, or a consistency tester. You can also use an Arduino board like the one that I have here. You can also use one of those. It's an Arduino Mega board. I also bought it for the InMoov humanoid robot project. You need 2 of those, and well, I also connected for some other thing that I'm running on my channel, so that one you can also use. So but better is to just get one of these. Those are very cheap, and you can check if everything is running. Make sure that when you are running on your Arduino board to power this one, that you only connect just one servo motor. Well, last time I showed you how you can install the servo motors. I'm also going to do that with this one. First things first, make sure that you have the right parts for the right hands, or the right forehand, because I mixed 2 parts and it didn't work, and I thought, what am I doing wrong? So what are we going to need for this build? Well, all the parts of the InMoov humanoid robot, forearm and hands. So that includes the forearm covers. I'm not sure about every name, but if you follow the site, then you will see it. Also some servo motors. You also need to have the fingers and the finger covers in the hand cover. You also need to have some pulleys, and also from your servo motors itself, those horns, or I don't know how you call those plastic parts, and also some screws. And yeah, for the tensioner you need to have springs, but I don't want to use the tensioner because it's very difficult to install, and because I'm having the wrong kind of fishing line, it's a 3.3 millimeter thick fishing line, I need to have 0.8. I thought maybe this can work, but it didn't, so I need to change that one. So for the tutorial I'm going to use etalage wire. I don't know I don't know how you call it in right English. I will put it in the on the bottom of this video. It's 0.5, it's way thicker and it's very heavy duty. It's nylon, it can stretch, but I tested and it takes some time to really break or stretch. So also some very heavy duty pliers that you can cut some screws, and also some screwdriver and other material. Also you need to have some grease. This is this is in Dutch, but it's ball bearing grease. Yeah, I also have some ball bearings here, but that's for some other parts. And do I have mentioned everything? Yes, I think I did. So let's install the servos on the bed. Let's get into the time lapse. So as you screw those servos into the servo bed, make sure that you first install these two and you put in those two, because this one you can only put inside if the servo bed is on the cover. So you can also put the servo bed in there and then install the servo motors, depending on how your way of working is. This one I only installed this piece or this part, and the wires are all going through the right holes here on the end sides, here here on the front side. The nerve board from the InMoov is going with a ribbon cable to here and is going to be settled here on this part. So all connectors are going to be in this part. Okay, so this part is done. In the meantime, I also installed the servo pulleys onto the servo horns. On each side you put one screw that comes with the servo motor. The back side you cut with a bigger plier, you cut the ends off, and you also need to take attention to that you have to screw those screws a little bit out to put the fishing line underneath. So we are going to cut all those four, and then we are going to continue with the rest. When I was installing the servo pulleys, I used one of the attachments from the servo motor to put the servo motor in the 0 position. I never worked before with servo motors, so for me the point where I have the servo motor now is for me the middle point or 0 point. It can be a little bit off with a few degrees, I don't know, but later on when we are going to program everything, I'm going to make sure that every servo motor is at center and it's correct installed. So let's continue. This part is almost done. Just put this one up on top of it. There are two ways to install it, but there is one good way. When I'm going to try to put it on like that, it will fit. If I put it other way around, it doesn't fit. Here's too big and here's too little. So I turn it around, it just fits. So let's put a screw in and continue. My electric drill or electric screwdriver was empty, so I have to do it manual. No problem. These are not the biggest projects that needs to be done. Something like this. All set. Okay, now we are going to put this aside, and now we are going to focus on the wrist and the hand part. And as you can see, I already did some attachments here on the hand. It's not almost done. The best part I leave for the channel. So what did I do? I took a piece of black ABS plastic and I put it inside of one of the fingertips to connect it. Before you do that, make sure that everything is as smooth as possible. And as you can see, it's not, so I have to adjust it a little bit here. So I'm going to disconnect this. I'm going to take them off, and then I'm going to make sure that everything is going smooth. It can be way smoother. You know what? I'm going to file it or sand it and then make sure that everything is nice. Everything is sanded and it just goes very smoothly, and as you can see, there is no friction in it. Now we are going to go to the next step, and that is adding these bolts. Those bolts are printable and they will fit into the hand. You can use a normal bolts like I have. Just a second. That I have here, and that one would fit, but I have to drill the hole. I can also file these down with my drill. So I will attach it to the drill and then twist it and then go with the file like this over it. Okay. One other thing that I can do is just try to fit it and just adjust those holes that are here with some files or a little drill. So let's see how far we come in here. Well, this doesn't fit that perfectly, it's no problem, and also here I need to drill it. This one we can also try to fit it. It's a very tight fit, but it will fit. And then I also need to have this part that also needs to be adjusted. Like you can see, it barely fits. Just like the fingers, they need to go as smooth as possible. The smoother it goes, the less friction or the less tension on the servo motors are going to come. So let's try to file the plastic bolts so that they will fit. So everything is sanded and grinded or filed. I don't know how you call it in the right English. So what did I do? I grinded everything as much as possible. The rods, the plastic rods, are very smooth. First I did it with a normal file, and then with some grinding paper. It's 240 P240, and when I'm going to check, I check if the fingers, the small wrist, is smooth. I don't have any problems. As you can see, it just goes very nice. Here also, just try it. It's no problem. Just here on the tip, what I did, I tried to concentrate as much as possible on this part until here. So I also did the same thing here. So here it's going very well. Now I'm going to attach the first part of the fingers. So the pinky finger and the ring finger. So we are going to put this one in. And like many people say in the InMoov community, you have two of those clips, but just one with this sparing here, where you can push this right through. Here and here it should go, and also here, but it's not there. No problem, because if I push this a little bit further, it snaps right in. I don't have to use any glue. Here it's pretty tight. If you want to tie that up for definitely or for forever, you can use some little power glue and glue it just right there. But further than that, it's amazing. There is a little bit movement here, as you can see. This goes a little bit up and down, and this has more room to play. So like you can see, it's almost a skeleton hand. It's very smooth, and that is what we want. Now we are going to use the thumb. The thumb also, like you can see, it's going in very smooth, little to no resistance. So that is very nice. Always take attention when you are going to place it that you have everything the right way. And one thing to notice is that all the screw holes for the covers are on the upper side. So now we are going to attach the thumb. Make sure that is going all the way through. Also the back part, you can test it using the back side. It's going in very easily, so that's also no problem. Just try to move it in there, like this. Just turn it a little bit. When it snaps in, then you can leave it there. I can also use bigger pliers, but I'm not going to use that. And then we are going to attach this part. Make sure that it is on the right side, because you have this little hole here, and that goes on the inside of the end from the InMoov Robot Hand. So there's a little thing that you need to take attention to, you have 5 lines of holes where the cable is going through, but also the wires. So this is the inside of the hand. Then you attach it like this. And I see that I still need to do something about the thumb. Just a second. So that's all the way through. So I cannot get it out anymore. So, something like that. So if now something is going wrong with the end, I have a problem. But hey, that's life. So now we are going to attach it here. Like it, you have to do it like this, not like this, but on this side, and then put the bolt through there, and then put the clip on it. Something like that. So that was the hand part. If you like, you can also put some covers on it right now. You can do that, it's no big problem. It's nice to do that. Just see if I can put it on something that's a little bit higher, but don't push it too much. Use little screws, not too big. So I've got a lot of little screws here. I think they are way too big. Take the smaller ones. I've got one box with tiny screws. Not too small. Not too big, just perfect size. Just for this application, perfect. If you don't get it in like this, then use a little piece of filament. That, I hope you can all see that. Covers, make sure that the hand doesn't make any too far movements. So make sure that when you are going to cover it up, that, and then take this one out and just take one screw here. It's looking awesome. When I was just started with the 3D printing, I was using my CTC Prusa i3 MK2 3D printer, and I was looking for robot parts to also do 3D printing as just as testing. But I found out that most of the parts from the puppy robot were pretty cool to print. So I started with printing, and on that printer I never had any good success. So for that reason I bought a Ender 3 with a lot of more success already. Now I'm fixing and upgrading my CTC Prusa i3 3D printer to make sure that I also get right prints out of that printer. So stay tuned at my channel, so that you can see all upgrades that I'm going to do on that printer as well. But back to the story. When I was at the Makers Fair, I saw the InMoov for the first time, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I really wanted to start with 3D print, to start with 3D printing the robot. But it was not the first time that I heard about InMoov, because like I said, when I was back to the story, when I was looking for the puppy robot parts, I had the full skeleton, everything, and I started to 3D print everything, and then I found out that each servo motor was around 200 euros. So there was the end of the puppy robot. I still have some parts. I definitely want to build that robot as well, because I do like robots a lot. And yeah, first I want to build the InMoov robot. Later on I'm going to try if I can also build that one, because there's a bicep robot and there's bicep. It has a specific name which I don't know at this moment, I'm sorry, but that robot is able to walk by itself, and it's a very cute robot. It's 83 centimeters high and it's amazing. But when you are finished building the robot, you are around $10,000 lighter in your pocket, so be aware it's a very expensive project to build. Oh, I also have the thumb here. Like you can see, it's just flipping sometimes, so you can check if you can file it more down or take some plastics away, but that is some knacking limitations. You can always adjust it, take the cover off, and then you have the full bending. So we can also put this part here, but you have to take a lot of things away. I think it's, yep, I'm going to do it like that. Now it's the long screw. Let's take the shorter screw. So that robot I'm definitely going to build, but first we are going to focus on the InMoov robot. It's a very nice building project, and maybe in the future I'm going to see if I can make more other robot builds. I'm also printing from a game called Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm printing parts of a machine, and it's going to be huge. Because the robot does look like it's the thunder jaw, as it is called, is going to be very huge. So now this is my hand. No, this is the hand from the InMoov, and as you can see, all fingers are flipping very easy. Maybe I can do something about here. That is a little pinky finger, but this is the idea. So now the lines are coming, almost. Let's move to the servo motor. Sorry, sometimes my English is not very perfect. So, as you can see, it's pre-assembled. When you are going to print this, the motors, the MG996R, are a little bit longer. So you have to grind this part away so that your servo motor is going all the way through. I see some builds that it's not a tight fit, that there is a gap from 5 millimeters or something, but I think this looks also okay. I didn't glue this part. On the InMoov side, you can see that Gael is gluing it with a 2 components glue, this part to the servo motor, but in this case it's very sturdy, and I can always take the motor out and put a new one in if this one is broke. Well, because we are going to build the whole thing in one go, when you're going to install this, make sure in the forearm that they are twisted like that, that is right in the middle, because the wrist has to do this direction. So not all the way through, because there are cables, so just a little turn. So this part is going on top of it, and then the hand part, and then we get it. So the thumb is going to come on the opposite side of this part. So when I'm going to install it, this is just the opposite. This is how it's going to be. So let's continue. This is already mounted. Make sure that the screws are not too long, and also when you are putting the motor inside, make sure that everything is grinded away here. Still very structural, very heavy part, and also the cable is a little bit turned away so that it will fit easily. So now we are going to mount it, but before we are going to do, first turn the motor to the right direction. Before you're going to mount everything, make sure that everything is dry fitted and that it is smooth and that there are no obstacles between the holes that are in the cover and also here by the screw section. If that happens, it's going to give more friction, and more friction does mean that there is going to be some problems with the tension on the servo motor. So this is smooth, this just is tight, it doesn't have to bend, it's not purpose to do that. So now we are going to the wires. Gael says that you should use 75 centimeters for each line. You can also take 80 or 90, doesn't really matter, but make sure when you're going through the lines that you make for every finger two from the same length, and also make some nuts in it before you are going to put everything through, because with the other hand that I already built, it happened to me several times that the hand was connected on this part, everything was okay, and then I pulled the whole cable through. That is also one of the reasons that I am going to use nylon wire. This is a very different rolled spool, so I'm going to just cut one and I'll see what's going to happen. So also this is bad. So let's going to take the cables and put them, make them ready. I already did two. I'm not going to bother you with the whole finger set. So before you're going to put one side in, notice that the wire is always bended. Well, in this case it's nylon and it is going one direction. You can use it in your benefit. But first we are going to put a knot in it. This is what I learned a few days ago, and I thought, hey, that's pretty handy, because it can happen that your line is going in through there and that you don't want to have with a normal knot. So we are going to do it like this, and then just turn it a few times and then put one side in. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit more wire so that I have some adjustments. So twist it turn it a few times, and then take one end and then pull it through. You can do it one more time again, just like this, twist it and then pull it through. I know the line is a little bit transparent, so you don't see everything. It's okay, no problem. So something like this. So that's great, good enough. In the end, I will put the both wires together, and then I put one knot in it so that it will stay. So now we are going to put the first wire in. Like I mentioned, it's not that difficult, but it can be a time-consuming task. Okay, so everything is now working. It's a little bit tight, but it's working. As you can see, it all fitted. I used some of my wires, made a little loop, and I just put it right in one of the holes, and then pull the cable or the wire right through it. Because to do that, it's quite difficult, it's time consuming, and hey, that's also why it is a weekend project. I'm just going to glue the part onto the on here. So I'm going to put all the servo motor cables there, because I'm going to wrap up this video in a bit, because it's a little time consuming. You got a lot of things that you can do in the meantime during the weekend. Also, especially now with the COVID-19, the coronavirus, and so. Before I'm going to glue this, I'm going to put the other side cover on it, just like this, and it fits. I'm going to use some painter's tape to keep the parts together. Something like this. See, on this side, I am using this tape to keep the parts together. When I'm going to glue it, that I have the right side on the right angle. This is very nice tape to use. Very tight. Like this. Oh, no cables between it. Like that. And now we are going to attach this part. All the wires are going in. Oh, that's a little bit messy what I'm doing now. Be careful how you are going to glue it on. Take it up to turn it around, because where the wires are, this is the way that you have to mount it. Oh, shit. So let's wrap up this video. As you can see, I've got now two hands of the InMoov humanoid robot. It is not that easy as it looks like, because there are a lot of wires going through the fingertip, tips, fingers, hands, wrist, and all wires need to be connected at the right place. And that I will leave for another video, because it's really a lot of time consuming, and if you want to take some time, just do it very easy. Take some extra tools, like some spare wire that I already used, like you could see. If you paid a little bit attention, you saw that this wrist part was the other side around. So, and off the video I did some corrections, because the wrist was all the way around, and this part should be on the opposite side of the thumb, and also on the opposite side of this part. It's this part here. So that was it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to Zachary 3D Prints, and I will see you next time. Let's make some fun with 3D printing. Zachary 3D Prints. Bye bye.